You could do with a result at the weekend.
Yes, we could. Yeah, you know, it's been a difficult week for us. It's been tough because I feel that for large parts we've actually been improving quite a bit, and we've been playing some good stuff. But at the end of it, it's difficult to speak about that when you're looking at the back of three defeats, and you know, another difficult spell for us. So we've just got to keep believing in doing what we're doing is right. Keep trying to improve and implement what the manager's asking us to do, and get better at it, because when we do get better at it, it'll work for us, and we've just got to keep going. There's nothing else we can do.
Does the faith, because it is such a difference in style and a different way of playing, can the faith take a bit of a knock if you're not getting results while you're trying to change so much?
It's difficult because obviously, but we're seeing in games, and we're coming off games for large periods, enjoying in the game and enjoying large spells of possession. The results is what matters at the end of the day. So it does take a bit of a kick to you when you don't get what you feel you've deserved out of a game. But that's when myself, obviously the older lads in the squad, we keep that belief going and keep pushing and driving what the manager wants from us out on the field. And believe in it, because that's all we can do. You know, we've got to really push and drive that as a group, as players, to make sure we're improving and we're doing what's asked of us by the manager.
Thanks for your time. Cheers.
No worries.
What do you think you are missing, John, in terms of, and obviously results, but what do you think you're missing in terms of the team's performance to turn those games into wins?
Well, I think we're missing that slight ruthless streak in front of goal. I think we're not taking opportunities at key moments in the game, and I think after those opportunities have gone a begging, I think the tide is turning a little bit in matches, and that's when we're coming unstuck. So that's a big part of it, and that's something that we've been working on, and the manager's pointed out very clearly to us that those chances that we are getting in games need to be taken. That'll give us a foothold. We've had a little bit of bad luck with a few decisions and bits and pieces along the way. You get them, so you can't moan too much at them, but yeah, I think that killer instinct and that ruthless streak, which probably from the first day of the season we were looking for as well. We need to get that into our game, and when we do, we'll be punishing teams and putting teams to bed, which will allow us to have even more confidence in the way that we're playing.
I think the manager said on Saturday after the game, we was talking about game management, know-how, leadership at crucial times in games. Is that something that you feel does need to improve?
Yeah, I think so. Again, that's because if we don't take our chances and the game swings into the opposition's favour, that's when we need to have calm heads, slow the game down if we have to, or speed it up if we need to take it to the opposition. So yeah, we do need to improve in that, and that can only come from players on the pitch, driving that forward, whether it's taking your foot off the gas or slowing things down, or you know, taking longer to get up from fouls, and you know, little bits like that where it could slow things up. But like I say, for large periods we've been really happy with how we've been playing, so it's a difficult one.
How do you improve game management? Because I imagine people like yourself who've been in the game a long time, it comes with knowledge, but there are a few young players in that team, aren't there?
Yeah, I think the more games you play, obviously you recognise spells in games and recognise when you're under the cosh, and when you've got to go and take it to a team when you can sense, you know, smell that little bit of fear and that vulnerability in the opposition. So I think we're doing it in ones and twos, but sometimes we're not doing it as a full unit. And the way that we need to play, we need to work as a proper solid unit going forward and defensively, because the speed in which he wants us to play and how we need to move the ball, you need to be up with play, you need to be in the right positions, because if one isn't in it, then it breaks down. So yeah, we're a work in progress, but we're enjoying the way that we're working. We do feel there's improvements coming. We hope that turns into results, because that it sort of settles everybody else down around the club as well. So yeah, we're working towards that. Because
I think the most frustrating aspect is it's not a question about ability, is there? I mean, this squad's very individually is very, very talented.
Yeah, it is. But you know, I think every team that'll come here or will go to away has got individual quality. You know, sometimes it's less than others, but they've still got players that can hurt you, and anybody on the day. I think that the main reason a lot of players are in League Two is inconsistency. They can turn it on and do something that a Premier League player can do one moment, and then next minute they're a non-league player. So yeah, I think you've got to be wary because every player at the time can have a flash of brilliance. We've just got to try and get that middle ground a bit better. We've got a decent squad of players, I'd say. Technically, we're at the topper end of the division, I think, as a group. We've got to gel that together, but like you say, there's been big changes throughout the season, and we look to keep improving and keep working on what's been asked of us.
Do you think that's been a problem, that there's been too many changes this season in terms of personnel, style of play, philosophies?
It probably hasn't helped anything. I think for a long time we were probably struggling to know our real identity as a team. We knew what it was under Kev, and it was no fault of his. It was the players that didn't continue implementing the way that he wanted to play, which ended up with him out the door, which is completely on the players in my opinion, and I hold that with myself as well. So then the change comes, and it's a polar opposite of how we play. I think circumstances probably led the gaffer to play probably different to how he really wanted to when he first came here. I think now he's got to a point where he's keen to play how he wants to play, what his vision is and his philosophy is as a coach. And then we've got to take that on board and really live and breathe it along with him, because that's the only way as a group we'll get success out of it.
Port Vale Saturday is going to be a tough game. You produced a very good battling performance there last year, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Horrible game to watch, but
yeah, it was just as bad to play in. But but I'd probably take one of those now. We've got to go like you say, we've got to go and battle, nullify their threats. Obviously, Pope, he's their key man. We know that he's been a handful against us every time he's played against us. So yeah, we go there with a game plan, but it won't be too far different from what we've been trying to do in the last 3 games. You know, we stick to how we want to play. We hope that that's enough to scare them and give them a few things to think about rather than worrying about oppositions too much.
What's morale like going into the game? It can't be that great after losing 3 on the spin, is it?
It's not that bad, you know, and I don't want that to sound like we're not bothered that we're losing, because training's always really sharp, and like I said, we've enjoyed large spells of the games. It's not like we've been getting battered and torn to pieces. I mean, Bury was a shambles, and we all know that. But apart from that, I don't think we've been a million miles away, and I think we've just got to keep, like I say, keep sticking at what we're doing. The minute that we all start coming in with the heads down and sulking is the, you know, that's the time when it won't change for us. So we keep lively, and you know, we like I said before, we drive that as a group as much as we can and keep us bouncing, because we need the standard of training to be up as high as possible, so that we go into the games, you know, with a real sort of tempo. An aggressive stance to go and do what we can do.
I've got to ask you about Samuel Osborne signing his first professional contract this week. What have you made of him and how he's developed at Meadow Lane?
I think he's done fantastically well. He's one of them. He shows flashes of brilliance in games and then seems to drift out of it. But that's the learning curve, and I think the club are 100% right in giving him that opportunity now. Now it's for him. Now this is when the work starts. This isn't you completing it and now I'm a professional footballer. This is for him now to work his way in and around the squad, which he has done. He's trained really well with us when he has been with us. And he's putting some decent performances for the 23s and stuff as well. So he could be a real asset for us in a couple of years, and I think they've got to manage him properly. But I won't let him get carried away with anything. Don't worry about that. And I'll make sure he's working even harder now to keep moving forward, because he's took big steps in the last 18 months.